I'm here with my buddy Kathleen. We picked these things from her garden and we wanted to put together just a quick little arrangement to show off some of the fancy ingredients that she has out there growing. So, Kathleen, we have
Apple of Peru.
Apple of Peru, a very vigorous, self-seeding annual
Yes, it
that
is.
is shrub-like and big. So, big.
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 It's super fun. Look at this ingredient. It has these fun little seed pods on it. And Kathleen said really the flowers just last for like a day.
Just about a day.
Just about a day. And then they're off, but it's fun. These little pods are so fun to use in arrangements. So we're going to use this as our like branching kind of structural piece, which is really very rarely is there like something from seed that grows that fast and that big and is this kind of hardy to be able to use as that structural piece. So I'm excited to have this today. This is the first time I've ever had Apple of Peru.
Exciting.
And then tell us about this.
And this is Love Lies Bleeding, very young. I just threw down this seed maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. So
Okay.
this just
Love Lies Bleeding. So I thought this would be pretty. The leaves are it's a very different, but we have two different shades of green. So I thought it would be fun to layer this maybe on top of the Apple of Peru to get a little bit of depth in our leaves. And they're a little bit bigger and just a slightly different shape. So those are some things that I'm looking for when I'm walking through the garden. Because if I had two things that were the same color and size and just slightly different, they can compete with each other. So I like to be looking to see if I can like adjust, like bring the tone up just a little bit or down a little bit, and shape, size, all those kinds of things. Tell us about these cute little guys.
These are snapdragons, the Chantilly snaps. They smell wonderful. And they're just,
No, they do.
yeah, they do. You don't realize it until you bring them inside, and then you can really smell them.
Yeah, they do really smell good. You can get a little close-up of those. They're super sweet. She has the little Madame Butterfly
I do.
out there
Those as
too,
well.
which are really fun. Just little fluffier middles. Okay, and then this, your arch nemesis.
This is a good old farm
A
weed.
good farm weed.
Kelly can transform anything.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. She came in, she's like, oh, you picked one of those. I thought this was really fun. I love that it has this nice flat leaf. A lot of times in arrangements, I'll use this kind of down around the base to frame, maybe a focal flower or something that's coming out. I think though for this arrangement, I think we're going to do kind of like that vintage calendar print kind of look. So we're going to actually take this up and do sort of like a square shape.
Exciting.
And just sort of showcase off these different varieties of things that we have. Okay, and this.
It's foxtail grass.
We saw a fox last night, didn't
Yes, we did.
Out here in the Thousand Islands. Yeah, I love this fancy little grass. One of the girls at the workshop had this, and Stephanie, I think, used it. And so sweet.
It is sweet.
Really sweet. I love it. It's
is
very striking in a display, and it's fun to walk by. And
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and then these.
Those are the zinnias. Those are the Queen Red Lime, I think.
Yep, Queen Reds. And I picked this particular variety. I started whenever we were walking through the garden. This was the first one that I picked. Tell us about these.
These are straw flowers. I use them.
Would this be called like rose?
That's a rose color. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rose straw flower. And Kathleen makes potpourri for her brides as a part of the process, which is super fun.
I do.
Yeah, so these are part of the potpourri, right?
They are. And I use them for boutonnieres and things like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So great dried flower, and they hold their color so well.
They do.
That's what's fun about the straw flowers. My mom grew these whenever I was a little girl, and I can't even think, I can't really remember. I think we would like string them to make little necklaces or something when we were little. But so anyways, that's where I started, was the straw flower. And then I went here next with the
Nicotina or
Nicotina.
Nicotiana, depending on how you say it.
Yeah, and I just love that in the front it's white, but if you flip it over, you get that really nice, just a shade up of this rosy color. So I only have one of these, but we'll find one really special spot for it. So that's where I started, and then I came, this is why I got off my order here, but then I came and I thought, I think out of all of the zinnias that are out there, this would be the prettiest one for the kind of palette that we're developing here. So that's why I picked those. And then our last little ingredient
It's the Scabiosa or
The
pincushion flower.
The pincushion flower, yeah. So some pincushion varieties are grown really for their pods, and the flowers aren't that great. And then
Right.
some are for their flowers, and the pods aren't that great. So, I mean, the pods aren't bad, but they aren't that really fun star-shaped pod.
Right, and if you use those, you have to really clean them up.
Yeah, they take a lot of time to kind of manicure and to get looking pretty. So anyway, so the process for going about making this arrangement is a little bit different than, you know, what I would typically talk about with, you know, this shape here and that shape there, whatever. But it's still, there's some similar things that are involved. So in this first part that we're going to do, we're still going to establish the shape and size. That's what I always am thinking about first. Like, let's get shape and size. All right, so we're going to start in this first layer establishing the shape and the size of the arrangement, and we're going to use the apple of Peru to do that. So I'm going to clip off some of these little guys down here that I don't really need. And we're arranging inside a flower frog is what we've got in this container. And since I'm gonna try to arrange backwards. You can kind of take a peek from the front and tell me what you think. But I'm gonna try to arrange this way and maybe turn it just for a second, since we have a little bit of a. It's tough for Jesse to get behind me, so I'm gonna try. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So like right here, this is where the flowers started naturally bending over. So when I was thinking about how short I wanted to cut it, I wanted that to sort of rest on the edge of the container and then just to drape down.
I hope that flower stays open. Looks so cute there.
Yeah, it does look cute. The sun's coming out. So really this back, I don't need flowers back here, so rather than creating a place for flowers to live in the back, I'm just gonna cover in that area. And these are better suited somewhere else, I think. What thing that I noticed about those calendar prints is that they really, they're shaped like a square a little bit. Have you noticed that? How they kind of come out, but then they come out this way, and then it's sort of straight across the top, how they come. But isn't it fun that they always have, like, for the month, you know, what was blooming that month? And do you know where those originated, Kathleen?
So pretty. I think the seed company started sending them out, and the bulb companies.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like a pretty marketing material.
Right, exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that. Oh, he's so sweet.
So cute.
Yeah. So we have that basic, you know, the basic shape, and not everything's like completely flat. Like there still is a little bit of like moving around back here a little bit, but generally we've got that. Okay, I think next I'll go for a little bit of this amaranth, and I'm just gonna do this cover the rim of the container. So again, that's something that I would normally do like in that level 1. But since we're doing something that is a bit, you know, of a different shape, I'm gonna take it up a little bit higher too.
Yeah.
Which is a fun way.
So you're not putting those flowers that will hold, you know, your initial base layer how you normally do it.
Right. Yeah, we're doing it just a little bit differently in this one. And if I was arranging in like chicken wire in particular, this would be a hard shape to do in chicken wire.
Right.
Because you don't have that extra layer of stability for the flowers to hang on to. But since we've got the flower frog in here, that's really the most versatile tool that you can use to keep everything right where you want it, because you can have room in here and nobody's going to see foam popping through. So you can use the small, if you're looking to do like a really sculptural kind of thing with a limited amount of ingredients, you're just looking to highlight maybe 1 or 2 varieties, and you want to do something really interesting with like lines, and there really isn't this like fluffy kind of base coverage, the flower frog is totally the way to go if that's the design that you're looking for. it's so tough to say like, no, I always do it this way or that way because the ingredients are always different. The design, the end goal that you're going for is always different. That's why it's good to have so many different tools in your pocket.
Right.
So we got that nice like depth going in there with the different shades of green. So it's like light, dark, light. And I love how that's kind of moving through.
Right.
Okay, we'll put some snapdragons in here next. And I think I'm just really going to follow this. I'm going to make sure that those two main points to establish, like this is what we're using to take a little bit of like lightness and color to the top of the arrangement.
Okay.
So if I put snapdragon on one side but not the other side, then visually my arrangement's going to start looking a little like visually unbalanced, you know, or even if one snapdragon's more open than the other, that affects the shape a little bit. So since this has a very distinct shape, I'm going to pay attention to making sure that I keep that balanced. I love the contrast of the white with the contrast of the white up against the black. How fun is that? So it's not perfectly symmetrical, and you know you don't want it to be. Right. So one's just a little bit forward, one's a little bit tucked back, but still nice and balanced. So these are just coming down a step, but still, you know.
Yeah, and it's great because that's picking up the color in there.
I think this one we could probably just put like straight up in the back, maybe. Really let it have its glory moment back here. I could have left a little bit more foliage on, but I took it off, so it's gone.
It's straight. Can't put it back.
It's gone. Can't put it back on. So
cute.
there's that. Okay, let's add a little bit of this fluffy little foxtail grass. And I'm just gonna add this in sort of the same way in between all the little, what do you think, in between all the little snapdragons?
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
The great thing about arranging flowers, it's like, Julia Child had this saying that's like, if you drop the duck on the ground, just pick it up and wash it off, and nobody's gonna know you dropped the duck on the ground. And that's how I feel about flowers. Like, put it in there, and if you don't like where it is, like, it's, you know, it's not a big commitment. Just take it out again. So I have got to have some of this grass. I love this grass.
It's funny because I'm not a big grass fan, but this one is
I'm
just
not either.
So
it's there's something about it. It's very of all the grasses, it's like an elegant grass.
It is an elegant. That's perfect. That's a perfect way to say it.
Yeah. Okay. I think it would be fun maybe to have like a little grass moment down here at the bottom too, and like to frame out some of these other flowers. So I'm gonna try it again. I can take it out later if I want to. So I was thinking like maybe even shorter. Just like right in here. Okay. The other thing about those calendar prints is that they're putting focal points up pretty high. And a lot of them, like you'll see just like a tulip like really high in the arrangement. So I'm gonna go for some of these zinnias really high. I don't have like, we didn't have any like giant flowers out there, did we? Is there like, should we maybe grab one of those dahlias that are really big? They're like that, like one of those?
One of the yellows? You want one of those?
Yeah, the like white one that's like frizzy petaled. We'll be right back. Short commercial break. We're back with some of Kathleen's heirloom dahlias. I thought, I think it would be good to have like a little bit of a high focal point. So we're gonna try this. We didn't have like the perfect one to go in this little spot that I was thinking of, but this one seems like it could be pretty close to perfect. So pop it back in here. Oops. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. So put that there. And have some of these other ones. See, this one had a little curvy stem, so he was tough to figure out how to get into the frog. Well, for future reference, I think your cow weed is not happy cut. We tried it. We dropped the duck.
See, it probably heard all the bad things I said
You're
about
just
it.
gonna pick it up and keep going. Yeah. Let's make a fun little line with these. This breaks one of my normal rules, which is that you do like small, medium, large, and now we're doing like small, large, medium, but that's how it's gonna fit in here today.
Right.
So we can still make an implied line with it, and it'll be pretty. I guess it's not even a rule. One of the principles that you can employ. Here we go. Okay, that's fun.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun.
So we got a little line going. And let's work in the zinnias next. And we'll see which ones. Oh, there was this one that just had this beautiful, like these, it's interesting how they have undertones that are so different.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, there was one that was like so peachy and pretty. Like this is a really rare, there's a very subtle tone in that I haven't seen all year. I kind of like it though without the red. I love that.
I know it.
Done.
That's what I was going to say. It looks perfect.
Done. You know, it could just be done. But we wanted to showcase all the varieties.
Perfect.
So
No.
I don't know. So how do you know when you're done? Well,
Yeah, that would be a great question. How do you know?
how do you know when you're done? Yeah, it is tricky to have that sense, but a lot of times I think it's so easy to overwork the arrangements and kind of to maybe include more than you need to. Like really, we could totally be done right now, but if our goal was to show off all the different varieties, then we should show them off. So I'm going to add them in, but
elegant,
take
though.
a little moment.
Yeah.
Here's what we feel like could be done right now. And who gets to be the judge of that? You do. You do. Yeah. We could add these in maybe just in a more subtle way, kind of around like where we see those little pockets of the amaranth, just to reinforce that little touch of color would be fun. There's no Sweet William in this arrangement.
No.
It's Kathleen's
Sweet
fave.
William. Next year.
Next year.
We have to do this all over again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at how beautiful this is with that amaranth foliage. You just catch that tiny little bit of green in the
center,
leaves. Yeah. It's so interesting, like, depending on what you're pairing things with, how completely different it can look, you know? Pick good friends. You'll start looking like them. Right? I just had
I'm going to have a beautiful bun then someday.
Yeah. Okay. So even that, just if somebody's walking in from the side, have that little bit of a moment. But how does that affect the overall balance of the arrangement now? So now we have to think about, okay, every action equal and opposite reaction. Like, is it another zinnia, or are we going to maybe put the scabiosa over there, or how can we balance this out? I think that seemed like it could happen to me. Just a little bit where it's like facing a little bit more forward. And maybe we balance it out on the bottom of the arrangement and we just continue this little zinnia moment that's down here with that pretty grass.
Yeah.
We could do that. But this isn't the right zinnia there. This one's too dark. This one's really dark too. So we might not do that. Maybe it's a straw flower. Let's show. I didn't really like how this zinnia was like super dark and then putting that one right beside it. They just, similar shape, similar size, similar color, but like that slightly different.
Right.
That was just like, I don't think they're made to like live next to each other.
Gives it a feel.
Yeah. So maybe, see, this would be better up here. So let's relocate. Yeah. This one will work down here and these ones can work up here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I love that because you have a little gradation in color too, like light, medium, dark. Yeah, that can work. Let's do it. Okay, we committed to it because I just
Okay.
I
Made
just
that
clipped
cut.
that. I just made that cut. No going back. Okay, so we just get these little guys like stair stepped through here. Let's see. I think it would be fun if this one was a little bit lower. So we eliminated, I hate naked stems. Unless they're on purpose. So I think let's like just lower this to get rid of that. I like how these ones are stair stepped and you don't really like see their little naked stems. Sometimes I'll wrap like little vines or something around them. But again, that's all a matter of preference. Like you might like it and that's fine.
That does look better.
Don't you think?
I do.
So now we're okay. Let's assess here. I feel like that's pretty well balanced now. I feel like that's pretty well balanced. Here, we'll turn it around and look at it. Sorry I'm about to put my back to you, but So, don't you think that just this little bit of darkness up here helps to, and then we reverse. I like that.
I love it, except for the cowweed.
Except for the cowweed. We need to get rid of that. Snip, snip, snip. Okay.
This is good though. This will show selective editing.
Selective editing, yes.
When your weeds die.
Yeah, and we just literally pulled all of this stuff out of the garden. Like, it didn't have a chance to, it would be, if we were really gonna like take this somewhere and, this was for sale, we would definitely want to process all the flowers like officially and keep them overnight and get them nice and hydrated. Maybe a little bit of Quick Dip. Do you use Quick Dip?
I do.
Yeah, I love Quick Dip.
I do.
So good for garden flowers. The geese are flying over. Okay, so I took out that little bit of cowweed and maybe we can tuck a little bit of this amaranth in there deeper. See, that's fine. Okay, the straw flower. I don't need much of this in here, but just a little bit to show what's happening in October, in the beginning of October.
October in the North Country.
You have any burning questions? Why'd you do that, Kelly? Why'd you pick that? Anything? Kathleen here is helping me.
Yeah, I love how you did this. Now, if I had done it, I probably would have started with the very darkest at the bottom, but you changed it up a little bit. Why did you do that? You just knew?
I just, you mean like the...
like the gradation, you didn't go exactly from the darkest to the...
Yeah, no, I didn't this time, did I? You mean in the zinnias or in the...
With the zinnias. Like to me, this is darker than that.
Yeah,
maybe
and
because
these
we're in
ones
the
are
dark.
light down here. Yeah, the lighting has shifted a little bit. I don't know. I don't know that there was a particular reason for that.
But I like it. Makes it more interesting.
It still moves, top to bottom, dark to light, light to dark. You can kind of go either way with it. That's what's so fun about the principles. Like you can reverse them, make them go forwards, backwards, all kinds of things. And these I'm just going to tuck in sort of semi-evenly.
So you're leaving a lot of foliage on there.
Yeah.
Which I like it. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Don't need tons, and sometimes if it competes with like the purposeful foliage that I put in, I'll strip the whole thing.
Okay.
But I think this works. Like it's an even darker green than this.
Right.
The apple that we have. So I feel good about that. I think with this last little piece, again, I feel like at this point, like it could be done again, but I think I'm going to put this back here just for a little bit of depth. Sometimes when you're doing something that's one-sided, it can look a bit flat. So if you continue and carry on just a little touch of the color in the back, it looks like there's something going on back there.
Right, draws you in.
Yeah. And it's looking back there now.
Right.
So see, before it was looking flat, now it looks as if it really could maybe be continuing back there. So we didn't use as many flowers. We didn't need as many flowers for the presentation, but you still get that nice full look. I don't know how this little guy, this was like my favorite one, and somehow he has like made his way to the whole way to the back of the arrangement. Is there some place, Kathleen, I could put it that you could like catch a little bit of it coming through? It's pretty full. We have a lot of foliages in here.
I don't think you.
Yeah, it's fine. Maybe
you
just
could keep it
maybe
high
on the
enough that
side.
right here- yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. All right, the last thing I had was just that little piece of scabiosa. That's easy. We can just work that in somewhere. I think we got them all in.
We did. You did.
Yeah, we got them all. I have a tough time whenever there's like multiple, like that's hard. That's hard to use. You really do need to like have a little bit more control over where they're gonna go and live. So I'm gonna tuck these ones in a little bit deeper, I think, just for depth to echo the apple. Okay. Yeah, just a tiny little touch. Oh, my grass broke. Okay.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, we're just gonna fix it real quick. All right. That was it. That was arranging with your garden flowers. Ta-da!
It's beautiful.
Thanks for hanging out with me, Kathleen, and smiling.
Thank you for having me. Can you come again tomorrow? Can we do it all over again?
We can do it all over. I'll be here.